How's
You're
it
right.
going?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Wicked.
Just had to move from the other hotel to this hotel, like, so it's been like a bit of a headache to get all the stuff over and stuff like that. So I've
No
just got
problem.
in here. Man.
I knew there was something. I knew you wouldn't let me down like that, Jake. No,
No,
it's
no, no,
so
never.
they've obviously taken you to the presidential suite now that they've seen, they've heard your lyrics. You've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
strutting your stuff, and now they've given you that sweet little upgrade.
yeah. Well, this room is fancy, it's really fancy. So got a cooker and everything in here. So
Look at that.
they give me the star treatment.
Look at that, and deservedly so. Let's talk a bit about Vegas then, because I've been over there a few times, and each time I've gone over there, it's brought out like a different kind of something different for me. It's Sin City, it's the fight capital, and of course, you're walking around the halls of the UFC. So, first and foremost, like, what's been like the biggest thing which has made you smile so far?
Well, everything here is like top class. The UFC have treated me really good. I've been to the Performance Institute and the Apex, and it's great facility. They've treated me well. Fed me and everything. So, it's been an amazing experience. The UFC treated me great. It's the best I've ever been treated. So, Vegas, beautiful weather. You can't stand outside for too long though. You got to get in, get out. You
Yeah,
don't want to
man.
get burnt here. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? So. But it's great. The people are really nice as well. Everyone's been greeting me nice, so I'm just loving it.
Nice one. So, have you basically just been working out at the PI?
Yeah, I've done all my training at the PI. Obviously I've brought one of my training partners with me, Andy Yates, and my coach, Cage. Um, I didn't really want to be training with other people because obviously it's close to the fight, and I don't know what they're going to be like. Got ego or something, and tear your knee off or something. Accidents happen in it or things like that happen. So, I brought my training partner with me, got some training in the PI and the Apex and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And you've done a bit of media already. How did that go?
Yeah, it went well. It's the same things, you have to do on every show. Like, it's just a long process, it's not really something I like to do. It's like, you know what I mean? Just got to get on with it. It's a bit repetitive after a bit, when you've done it a few times. So yeah, I got to do it though. You know what I mean? Part of the game.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, mate, I think you talk really well. So reframing it in the way that it allows more. I know it's repetitive, but the more every time you do it, there's going to be a bigger audience that are going to be able to hear you, and just it will help you be able to tell your story in a more effective way each time. Because I can't wait to hear what you've been saying, like as we get ready to see you on the Contender Series. Have you got any surprises for us? You've been like throwing down the gauntlet for anyone?
No, no, I haven't thrown down anything for anyone yet. I'll do that after I've smashed this guy in.
Well, what do you think of this guy? So it's Mitch Raposo. We saw him on The Ultimate Fighter. Younger than you,
Yeah,
less experience than you. Is
yeah.
this like the first time actually that you have fought someone who's got less experience?
It's the first time I've fought anyone at pro who's got less fights than me, actually.
Right.
Um, Early in my pro career, I fought a guy who had the same record as me, but this guy has got, since I've been fighting at high level, if you want to say that, this guy is the most inexperienced out of the lot of them.
Right.
He's a good opponent. He's well-rounded. But saying that, he's 5-0, but most of his wins are against journeyman level opposition.
Okay.
The one fight he did fight anyone any good, that was on the Ultimate Fighter, and he lost it. But I'm saying that, but he's very good. He's very technical. Got good striking, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. Young kid. He's a good opponent, but he's going to be in for a real shock when it comes against me. You know what I mean? Because obviously I've fought high-level, hard opponents and been tested and been pushed deep in the waters, and he's never, ever been pushed like that before. The one fight he did get pushed like that, he basically gave the fight away, in the last round. He kind of like gave the fight. It looked like in my opinion, it looked like he just was happy to make it to the end of the bell to say he's fought on the Ultimate Fight. You know, I mean, it didn't look like no sense of urgency or anything. You know, most of his fights look like, you know, the opposition they ain't like the best, but he has got good skills though. When I say all this, he's very skilled, but that's where he's going to get beat up is through like the experience and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I've got to say, I was worried about the fact you getting this opportunity on the Contenders. I know that you were obviously really upset when the first one fell out, which was like nothing that you could do by the sounds of things. You know, these visa things, red tape, it just, you know, it's a ball ache, whatever job we do, right? And and I'm so happy that you got to get that opportunity again. But can you let us into the kind of emotions that you have experienced over the summer from having that taken away from you to then getting this new opportunity?
Yeah, well, it's been a long road really to this date of October, in the fact that you know, I got offered the Contenders in it was supposed to be originally July.
Right.
So Cage Warriors offered me a fight in June, and obviously I had to turn the June fight down for Contenders. But then that ended up falling through. I tried to get onto Cage Warriors again. They wouldn't have me because it was too late. And then I got they rescheduled it for September, and it was sorted for September, and I was fighting in September. And then, you know, obviously all that troubles I had with the visa. I mean, once that got you know, I knew I weren't going to get my visa in time, and the fight weren't going to happen. You know, I was really upset. You know, but you know, I worked hard in that camp and was working hard, and you know, it almost, you know, brought me to tears. You know what I mean? Because I was prepared for it, and you know, then I tried to get back on Cage Warriors. They couldn't get anyone willing to fight me. So, but at first they were saying, "Oh, we might have someone." So it was all up and down emotions. You know, I come out of camp for about 2 weeks. When I say I came out of camp, I just, you know, didn't redline it, you know, because there's only so long you can redline before you just break, you know what I mean? So I was redlining for about 7-8 weeks. Knew I weren't going to fight. Took two weeks off the gas tank. When I say my out of camp is most people's in camp, you know what I mean? I train twice a day, 6 days a week when I'm out of camp, you know what I mean? And then when I'm in camp, I up it even further, you know, with the diet and stuff like that. So I came out of camp for about 2 weeks. And then I got the call again. So, you know, at first I thought, you know, they'd give me a straight shot. I was thinking, oh, they'll give me a straight shot. Based on the fact that, you know, I'm probably the most achieved fighter to ever fight on Contenders, in my opinion, because if you think of, like, I've won a Cage Warriors world title. I've won an EFC world title. Yes, I'm only 7-0, but if you look at the last 4 geezers I've beat up, they're all like high-level guys. You know what I'm saying? And even like Mitch is a high-level guy. He's been on the Ultimate Fighter and that. So, you know, I thought they would have given me a straight contract, but I'm just happy to get in here and fight. And, you know, I'm going to show everyone that they should have given me a straight contract, but I'm going to prove it anyway when I get in there and I smash this guy in and get what I deserve, and that's the UFC contract.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm very happy for you. You know, you get to do this dance. I've got so many friends in the European scene, you know, particularly at home in UK MMA, and like it happened to my teammate the other day, like COVID got in the way again, and like he'd cut weight. He's cut weight, he's ready to fight, and then it got pulled, you know, hours before the fight. And it's just heartbreaking to see these opportunities keep going, and you know, it's a lot for you guys to deal with emotionally. And I really felt like you invested in the camp, didn't you? Like Johnny, the strength and conditioning guy. I don't know if you'd worked with him before, but I really saw the extra efforts that you were taking to make sure you were as good as you could be.
Yeah, well, we went the extra mile, you know what I mean? We pushed it a good hard camp. You know, I always train hard no matter who I fight. I could be fighting an 80-year-old granny or something. I'd still train like she's a world champion, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm one of them guys, I don't take no one for lightly. You know, I want to know that I've put everything into. If I want and put everything in, I ain't gonna fight because, you know, this is my life. This is what I do my whole entire life. I gotta, you know, I put everything into it. So yeah, I forgot what you were saying, but yeah,
Yeah,
there
mate.
you go.
No, I know. Yeah, you did. It was just that level of investment that you put in this camp. So it's great to
Yeah,
see that it's. I mean, it never goes to waste. But
no, and you know, what upset me a bit was I was thinking, oh man, I ain't gonna be able to get a fight. I ain't gonna be, you know, because you know, Cage Warriors had to turn them down at first for the contenders, and then I was trying to get back on Cage Warriors. I was so upset, thinking I ain't gonna be able to fight because, you know, I just want to fight. I just want to fight. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so obviously it was a bit upsetting at first, but now I'm here and I feel at home. You know what I mean? I feel at home here.
yeah. No, very cool, man. Very cool. And big up Sam Creasy as well, by the way. I know that
Yeah.
when look, I've been lucky enough to come up to Birmingham with a couple of the teammates. I've been there, obviously, filming with Leon, and we've met a couple of times. I saw Sam Creasy comes up from like Northampton. A bunch of those guys do, right? And
Yeah, well, Dominic Woodin as well comes up.
yes, of course.
Dominic
Yeah,
Woodin,
I've seen him there.
and he won the bantamweight title as well. So, you know, that just shows you the caliber of people I spar with on a regular basis. I mean, I spar with Dominic Woodin, I spar with Sam Creasy, who are both Cage Warriors champions now.
Yeah.
We've got multiple guys coming from all around the country. You know, there's another young lad named Jack Eglin who comes, and he's a very good prospect.
There, yeah.
He's a very good. He's going to really cause some damage. He's a very good prospect. And then I've got my normal guys from my gym. You know, all top fighters. So
yeah,
man, good training.
Yeah, and I think that makes things, or would have made things, even more tricky, right? The fact that you've now the two weight classes that you could compete at, they're essentially teammates, guys that you know really well. You don't want to be doing the dance with either of those guys, you know, especially not. No disrespect to the Cage Warriors, but it's not the UFC Championship belt. It's you guys are all trying to get up, you know, to the upper echelons of the sport, the very top. You don't want to be climbing over each other to do that.
No, well, that's the situation I was in. I was like, you know, when the contenders got cancelled or whatever, my fight got cancelled and that, I was thinking, well, what can I do if I go back to Cage Warriors? You know, I'm either going to be fighting Shanks or Creasy.
Right.
But obviously, I don't want to really fight Creasy because I spar with him a lot.
Yeah.
And I train with him and I know him personally. And then Shanks, I 50-42 with him.
Right.
So it was like, why would I do that? And then even I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go back to EFC. And then Zulu won the belt back. And it's like, well, I 50-45 with him, so
yeah,
that don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And then I was thinking maybe I'll go bantamweight. And then I saw Woodin was fighting for the belt against Fletcher, and I knew Woodin was gonna. I knew what was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
It's serious.
Yeah, he should be going soon. I think, you know. Hopefully he gets a call up. You know he deserves it. I know his record. He's lost a few fights, but you know he took hard fights early on in his career, so he's a very good fighter. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, mate, there's probably going to be a couple of people. I'm going to leave this up on my feed. There's going to be a bunch of people that might not know you, right? So I want to, and I want to know a bit more about you as a youngster. A little story now. I'm going to tell people. I think you know what's coming. So, like, I was over in Birmingham filming some stuff for a Leon Edwards feature. This is going back a few years as well now. And we went down to the old UTC gym, and we were just filming. It was closed by this point, but they still had some of the livery, the detail outside. And I was there with a cameraman. And this little guy, this little teenage guy, come up full of beans and started telling me how I need to check out his career, and you know it's definitely one to watch. And it was you, and I love that. I love that. I cannot wait. I pray that I get to commentate on one of your fights one day, so I can tell that on the broadcast, because. I mean, it probably doesn't mean a great deal to anyone else, but just the fact that you saw someone with like a UFC camera or job title, whatever it might have been, but you just wanted to come up and just put your name out there, get your stock out there. And I remember that, bro. I remember that, and I've been watching. You know, when I came back to Team Renegade, I remember you were sparring in the cage. I think Leon was on the mat. Don't tell Leon. I was watching your game and I'm like, this kid can wrestle. Like, you were creating problems in there. And I just thought, okay, yeah, he wasn't messing around. He, you know, what he was saying was for real. And of course, I've now grown to see what you guys in Birmingham are all doing, the coaching, and of course you guys as athletes. I'm really impressed. It's a real hotbed.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of great talent coming out of Birmingham, loads of you know, the great coaches coming out of Birmingham. You know, we have lots of top talent. People come from all over the country and world now to come and train in Birmingham. So we've got something good going on here. You know what I mean? So, and I've told other people before when I've met them, look out for me. I'm going to be UFC champion one day. I remember when I met Bisping when I was a young kid. I must have only been about 12 years old. I remember saying it to him. So if he's commentating contenders or whatever, I'll say, look, remember me? You don't remember me, but here's a picture. Look, and I told you I'd be in the UFC. But this has been my lifelong goal. You know what I mean? Of getting to the UFC. And I think the difference between me and him, or me and anyone he's ever fought before, he's going to have to prove it in the fight. Yeah? But the difference between me and anyone he's ever fought before is I'm willing to die for this. You know what I mean? Without meaning, what's the point of living? People live for meaning. My meaning in life is to be in the UFC and be UFC world champion. So I'm willing to die for that. You know what I mean? I'm willing to die for that. So he's got to be ready as well. You know what I mean? He's got to be prepared as well. It's going to be it's going to be a real test. You know what I'm saying? So there you go.
When did fighting become a part of your life?
Well, basically since I come out the womb. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I grew up around fighting. You know, my dad boxes as an amateur, my granddad boxes as a pro.
Oh,
he
right,
had
nice.
He had like 350 pro fights. He had bare knuckle fights and everything. So
holy shit.
You know, so I grew up around fighting. It was always on like the TV. You know, and I used to watch fighting on the telly. And then I'd go to school, and I was crap at school. I couldn't play football. I couldn't learn in class. I couldn't communicate with people. So like the way I created like friendships and the way I like, you know, got to communicate with people was through fighting at school, because, you know, people always want to be friends with the guy who's the tough guy, you know what I mean? So that's how I like started like, you know, fighting at school, because I had no friends, no nothing. So that's how I got communicate. I was like, oh, I'm good at this. I'm good at this fighting stuff, because I'd always, you know, I'd win, or sometimes the bigger kids in the higher years, maybe they'd win, but they wouldn't want to fight the next day. You know what I mean? I'd be willing to fight the next day. So, yeah, I always grew up around like the fighting and stuff like that. And I'd always be on to my dad to take me to the gym. Could you take me to the gym? Obviously, we didn't know nothing about martial arts gyms back then. You know, can you take me to the gym? No. But I was getting in so much trouble at school for fighting. Eventually, he took me to the gym.
What,
he took me to like
UTC?
No, it was just a local gym when I first started training. Just like a little. It was like honestly, it was like a little shed, and we just used to beat the crap out of each other in this little shed.
Was it boxing or was it MMA?
It was like an MMA gym. It was called D-Tech at the time. Anyone who knows it, it's like a really little MMA gym at the time. So I did start.
Why MMA when the family lineage is boxing? Why what gravitated took you to MMA rather than just the hands?
I preferred the MMA when I used to watch it on the TV. You know what I mean? When I used to watch it, I preferred the MMA.
Okay.
And also at school, I used to grapple a lot of geezers instead of punching them when I was a young kid. Really funny enough, I used to tie them up before I even because I watched the bit of the UFC, and then I'd like double leg them and stuff like that. And
brilliant.
Made some bit at school, so I thought, well, I'm better at the MMA, but that's what I thought when I started. You know what I mean? And I preferred the MMA. I preferred watching the MMA compared to the boxing, because when I was young as well, I didn't really watch new school boxing. I used to watch like the old ones, like Sugar Ray Leonard and
my dad's favorite.
Muhammad Ali, you know, George Foreman, Fraser. Even I used to watch the old ones. I mean, I got them in black and white, like Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey.
Jesus. Yeah.
You know, I've got all like the old videos. I mean, I got like about 100 tapes of boxing fights, and I'd come home from school and pull them on and just watch them. Old boxers, Jersey Joe Walkout and Ezzard Charles and all these guys, and just that was all my life. All my life has been, that's all I've been interested in is fighting, like I say. So yeah, you know, I've always watched like the fighting. I started boxing at 15 though, because my dad knows a lot about fighting and stuff. My dad's a good brain for fighting. He couldn't do it himself right now, you know what I mean? Or he weren't that great of a fighter himself back in the day, but he knows a lot about fighting, you know what I mean? So he did put me onto like the boxing, and he put me onto like jiu-jitsu after he realised, you know, he says, I think you should do this and should do that, you know. So he's been a good coach for me, my dad has.
Right.
Where I think that's what I have over a lot of people is my fight IQ almost comes from my dad, because I've been around him for so long, and he's, you know, he puts stuff in my head. Like, he's like, you want to be like the smart fighter. You want to be like George St. Pierre, smart, high fight IQ. You want to be like Sugar Ray Leonard. He wouldn't brawl in the pocket with Marvin Adler. He'd move around, you know what I mean? You need to be smart like him, you know what I mean? So that's all I've grown up around. Think smart, you know what I mean? So my dad's always put me on the right path, you know what I mean, for that sort of stuff.
Who were the guys around Birmingham that were making moves that you perhaps looked to and thought, well, if he's doing it, I've got to go and train with him, or if he's doing it, I can do it?
Well, like, one of the things I do now is semi-copy the same routine as what Rocky does, really.
Oh,
you know
really?
what I mean? You know, like the way he does his training and stuff like that, the way he does his, I semi-copy his routine, not down to a T, but like, you know what I mean? Like, Rocky's a very clever fighter and stuff like that, so, you know, I do like semi-follow his routine. You know, obviously the guys in Birmingham when I first started to come up, obviously was people like Vaughn Lee and that, who I train with on a regular basis now.
He doesn't get enough love. From what I understand, like Vaughn Lee, like he was a real, for you guys in Birmingham, like he laid the path.
Yeah, he did, man. He's always helping me with my training and my sparring and stuff. I mean, he still gives people hard rounds now, and he's got to be about 40 years old, so that's how much potential he had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't think we had the talent in Birmingham at the time when he was fighting.
Right.
Like, he always says to me, oh, I wish you was like as big as you am and as, you know, good as you am now. Back then when he was coming up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then he said I'd be UFC, I would have been UFC champion, and you know what I mean? And obviously the talent's grown now in Birmingham.
What about Paul Taylor? Was Paul Taylor on your radar?
Paul Taylor, I know Paul Taylor, not personally, but I've watched him fight in like the UFC and stuff, and I've probably seen him at a few shows and that. But I've never trained alongside him or anything like that.
Okay. One thing that I want you to talk about, actually, just it's a Leon thing, because when I've come up to do a little bit of filming and whatever, I see a different Leon, which is hard to capture on camera. It's just the way he commands the room. Do you know what I mean? Like, we see Leon, he's very light-hearted when he's in interviews. He has a lot of fun. When he gets in the octagon, he's, you know, a very technical, smart fighter. But when he walks into the gym, or when you guys are like looking to start, like, people look to him. He's a real leader, isn't he? But you're obviously one of the guys that looks up to him. Can you talk about that? Because I don't think people really get that about Leon.
Yeah, well, Leon, obviously, you know, he looks after everyone. You know, you can go to him for advice about anything, weight cutting, fighting, you know, anything. He's a real leader, you know what I mean? Even personal stuff, you know, I spoke to him a few times about my visa and this situation and that situation, you know. You know, he's also been pushing to get me in the UFC as well. So he's a real leader, you know what I mean? And to be honest, he's the guy to look up to, because you know, he's got such a well-rounded game, and he's so smart in the way he fights. So you got a good person to look to, You know what I mean? If you can look to try and be similar to Rocky, you ain't gonna go far off
No.
what you know. Obviously, everyone's got their own style, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like he fights smart. You know, you can pick up a lot off him. You know, he's got time for everyone. He's got time for everyone in the gym. You know, you can ask him a question after training or whatever. But he's always teasing me in training. I don't know what his problem is with me. He's always trying
and you guys have got that mad spot that you can go to as well now. We got that floating cage in the middle of the weightlifting gym, which is just the maddest thing I've ever seen. Have you given that a little run out yet?
Yeah, I did all my sparring for my fight in that cage basically. Yeah, it's a bit crazy at first. You know, when you first get in it, you feel like, oh, am I gonna fall off here or something like that? You know what I mean?
Like if I was to do any sparring with you, I think at first I'd probably need, because I'd be worried about, obviously worried about the sparring, but for me, I'm scared of heights. So there's two things that I'd have to get over just to get into the cage. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm looking around, I was holding onto the rails as I was going there. My adrenaline was spiking before I even laced up the gloves.
Yeah, well, that facility, it's Fearless's new gym, Fearless MMA's new gym. It's I think they like part ownership with 18Y Fitness Gym. You know, they've got all the top of the range equipment, you know what I mean? You know, for your weights or your strength conditioning, you know, you got your sauna, you got your steam room.
It's like a little spa back there.
Exactly. You got your physio room, you've even got a barber shop, you got living facilities, you got cage, you got Dolomere mats, you got everything in there. So you got everything you need for you know, to be a top level athlete.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the best facility, you know. So
nice.
top class.
Couple of other things before I let you get back to the desert sunshine. What's the pose about, Jake? The pose. You know the pose?
Like this.
You got the one with the belt, and then you got the pose.
What pose? Sorry, when I'm like this.
Yeah. This one.
What it is obviously I had my Cage Warriors title, but I never had my EFC title with me.
Right.
So what I was trying to say is, I got 2 titles. I'm a 2 promotion champion,
gotcha.
But I didn't have my other belt with me. You know, so you know, I'm a 2 promotion champ. That's why I was going like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like the strut as well. Where'd you learn a strut like that?
It just comes to me. You know, like when I get in the cage, you know, I feel at home. I feel, you know, most people feel like nerves and stuff like that. I feel, obviously, everyone feels a little bit of nerves, but really, for me, when I walk out, I feel, nah, this is what I was meant to do. I feel at home, you know what I mean? I feel and I feel like I can show my personality. I can, you know, feel confident. I feel good, you know what I mean, about myself. And so it just all comes out, you know, in the moment.
Yeah.
It just all comes out.
Yeah.
And plus, I like to rub it in people's faces because, you know, a lot of people get some hate, you know what I mean? So I like to rub it in the face. Look, come on, I'm the man.
I like it. And your walkouts I like your walkouts. I like a bit of personality, and the UFC will like that as well. Like Mason Jones, for example, like he's got a really epic walkout with the flag and his walkout music and stuff. You know, Jack Shaw with his music choice. I think you've got, like, again, just coming from that Cage Warriors side, what is your walkout music? Is it always the same, and what led you to it?
My walkout music's always the same, and I don't really want to tell you what led it to, because then it gives it all away, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh no. So I ain't gonna give where it come from, but you know, it's a good song, you know. It makes me feel I like everyone loves it. The crowd love it. People always come up to me after. At first, like you know, people remembered me easier after. Oh, you're the guy who comments that song. I really like that song, and then you smash the guy as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? It came from a bit of that, but where I got the song from, that's a bit of a secret.
All right. We don't have to divulge that today. Let's wait until we have this conversation, and you know, you're looking at a UFC title or something like that. Maybe you can tell us about it then. I appreciate that. And the other thing was, I've obviously been doing a little bit of social stalking ahead of this, and I've done something called a Eurowatch piece on you and Chris ahead of this, because just to do a little something. And I saw on an interview you had like a newspaper clipping. You had some Muhammad Ali stuff in your bedroom wall or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And there's like a newspaper clipping as well. Looks a bit old school. What is that?
That's a newspaper clipping of my granddad, who was the pro boxer, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously he's passed away now, but that's a news clipping of him. You know, I got a few photos and stuff as well.
Right.
You know, from when he was a boxer and stuff. And it's just like a news article in the a news article of him in the paper. You know what I mean? Back when he was a young, I think he'd retired by then actually, and he was teaching boxing, and it was just talking about his story and that on the newspaper clipping. When I put it in a frame and put it up on my room, you know what I mean? So next to, like, you know, some trophies I've won and whatever.
Nice.
You know, and it's a bit of like motivation. That fighting runs through my blood. It's in my DNA. I can't help who I am. I know who I am as a fighter. So that's just in me. That's what I was born to do. That's what I was put on the earth to do. If I was born like 600-700 years ago, I would have been a gladiator in the big arena, in the gladiators trying to kill people or whatever, swinging a sword around. Because that's just I can't help it. It's bred into me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just a reminder. You know, when I look up, that's a reminder.
Nice.
This is what I was meant to be, bred into me.
Very cool, man. Listen, I'll let you get back to it. Thanks for joining. Very much enjoyed catching up and learning a little bit more about you. But go out there, have fun, express yourself. I'll be watching for sure. And yeah, man, I really hope that this is the platform that launches your career.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm coming out there to make a statement, get my contract with the UFC. So that's what I'm coming for. So make sure everyone tunes in October the 12th. And I'm going to go get it for everyone in Birmingham, everyone in Albury. I'm going to go get it. Everyone back in the UK, everyone who supports me, who coaches me, who watches me, all the guys who don't like me, here you go. Getting in the US. There you go. Living the dream in Vegas.
Nice, man. Love it. All right, mate. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch up with you when you're back this side of the water.
Yeah, thank you, man. Nice one.
All the best, man. Cheers. Take care of yourself. Right. How do we get out of here?